One of the most powerful theoretical tools in Chris Marker's Soleil is his brain baby, the zone. This conceptual realm, visualized by the EMS Spectre visual synthesizer, is one of Marker's most effective methods of exploring topics of memory, history, and systems of representation. How does the zone take form? And how does Marker get a synthesizer to do all of this conceptual work? The way I've come to understand it is that the zone exposes the limitation of the image. It does this by removing the familiarity we have with images, the detail, the color, the texture, so we see them as incomplete, not comprehensive, ghostly burning remnants of a moment. The visual component alone cannot achieve this. The zone is as much constructed in the narration as it is with the synthesizer, if not more. The zone develops within the exchange between two characters, the artist Hayao Yamaneko and the filmmaker Sandor Krasna. Yamaneko introduces the synthesizer to Sandor, establishing its conceptual dimension in two key tidbits.
He showed me the clashes of the 60s treated by his synthesizer. Pictures that are less deceptive, he says, with the conviction of a fanatic than those you see on television. At least they proclaim themselves to be what they are, images, not the portable and compact form of an already inaccessible reality. He claims that electronic texture is the only one that can deal with sentiment, memory, and imagination.
Sandor comes to understand Hayao's claims by dropping different images into the zone and meditating on what cannot be seen. In the case of the protesters, he's able to see a moment of triumph obscured by the official history.
Concretely, it had failed. At the same time, all they had won in their understanding of the world could have been won only through the struggle.
With the Eta people, he explains their dehumanization.
They are non-persons. How can they be shown, except as non-images?
With the kamikaze footage, he reads an intimate personal account, sideswept by the official narratives in both Japan and America's histories of Pearl Harbor.
In the plane, I'm a machine, a bit of magnetized metal that will plaster itself on an aircraft carrier. But once on the ground, I'm a human being, with feelings and passions. Please excuse these disorganized thoughts. I'm leaving you a rather melancholy picture.
There is always a lack, an incompleteness, exposed and visualized by the synthesizer, and then Sandor fills in the blanks.
Sentiment, memory, and imagination.
Things external to the image, with the narration. It is no coincidence that these scenes all convey elements of marginalized voices and experiences, which are commonly erased or minimized by popular colonial systems of representation. In this way, the zone is an effective critique of film styles like ethnography and direct cinema, which uphold the camera as an objective tool capable of reflecting reality when it's left untouched.
I took the measure of the unbearable vanity of the West that has never ceased to privilege being over non-being, what is spoken to what is left unsaid.
Basically, the zone demands a change in how someone approaches image. The visual component leaves glaring blanks in what we consider to be reliable tools of history and memory, and send the viewer to fill them in, or to realize that these things are truly gone forever.
Memory is to one what history is to the other, an impossibility.
Reliance on the image as anything more than just an image will lead to erasure and reductive narratives.
I remember that month of January in Tokyo. Or rather, I remember the images I filmed of the month of January in Tokyo. They have substituted themselves for my memory. They are my memory. I wonder how people remember things who don't film, don't photograph, don't tape. How has mankind managed to remember? I know, it wrote the Bible. The new Bible will be an eternal magnetic tape of a time that will have to reread itself constantly, just to know it existed.
The image, like the Bible, is trusted but incomplete, imposing a false sense of realism and understanding with its narrow retelling of the past. The zone pulls Sandor away from the idea of film as a new Bible. Sandor drops all of his images into the zone, and in this moment, he says he finally understands how it works. It exposes images as pieces of something already gone, that it is futile to try and capture the past this way. Sandor discovers that the zone is a way to find value, to find truth in letting go of our attachment to images, to letting go of our trust in images to tell the whole story. The zone enables Sandor to imagine a world in which each memory can create its own legend, where the playing field of representation, of storytelling, is leveled, and where no fragment of the past will become truth while others remain shadows. I leave you with my last bit of evidence, the zone as an homage to Tarkovsky. In Tarkovsky's Stalker, the zone is a place where the rules of physics and the laws of nature do not apply. It is guarded and forbidden by institutions, and it has the power to grant mankind's greatest desires. I think Marker's great desire in the zone is not total perfect recall, like in his example of a futuristic 4001, or a universal record, but rather freedom from the image as our only means of remembering anything. Freedom wherein we make images, they do not make us. Freedom to make poetry of our lives and our images. Freedom to play with what these murky fragments can capture, and most importantly, freedom to celebrate all that they cannot.